There's a battle raging on the streets of Soho. A battle that hinges on inalienable rights of free speech, quality of life, and property ownership. In the last year, police in Manhattan have made more than 100 arrests of street artists peddling their wares on city streets without permits.
So I've been arrested 11 times, never had a trial, never been found guilty, almost never gotten my artwork back.
Elizabeth Friedman, Assistant Deputy Chief of the New York City Law Department, says,
the police do enforce the laws. One of the ways they enforce the laws is by confiscating the goods that are being sold. So if he is in violation of the law, then he is subject to having his art or whatever it is that he's selling being confiscated.
I was arrested, yeah, and my artwork was taken in a big black bag, which is what they did with a lot of people right down the street. And they took the artwork to another designation in Long Island City, where they have a disposal place.
They're not supposed to be there. They're just breaking the law, and we're just tired of calling the cops.
Sean Sweeney, Executive Director of the SoHo Alliance, is sick and tired of street artists vending their wares in his neighborhood.
These peddlers and the street art dealers are blocking pedestrian traffic.
And that's not all. These artists are engaging in illegal activities.
The consumer affairs laws of New York City say you need a license to sell general merchandise.
So the question remains, why don't artists just get a license? Robert Letterman, founder of the Artists Alliance, hasn't had much luck, and he's not just whistling Dixie.
I've attempted on numerous occasions to get a license. Right now there are 5,000 names on the waiting list of people that are hoping to get a vending license.
That is, with the exception of book vendors, who are protected under freedom of speech. So Robert Letterman, seeking the same exemption, brought his case to federal court. Attorney Elizabeth Friedman represents City Council in their endeavor to keep artists off the streets of Soho.
We contend that, in fact, there is no First Amendment protection for this type of activity that the plaintiffs are seeking.
And so the arrests continue. Sweeney may have been responsible for dozens of these arrests, but you can't say he didn't give it the old college try. Sweeney made numerous attempts to relocate street artists to less populous areas with fewer art galleries.
We try to get in parks. The Soho Square on 6th Avenue, Petrosino Park on Lafayette and Spring, and a parking lot on Mercer and Prince.
It's nothing unusual to want to relocate people that you don't like. They just finished doing that in Bosnia. They did it in Nazi Germany.
Soho is no concentration camp, but certainly there exist mass concentrations of people roaming on the pint-sized sidewalks.
Prince Street is less than 12 feet wide, and I could produce you the actual law where it says you must have 12 feet clear pedestrian pathway.
Police have measured this sidewalk hundreds of times in my presence. Prince Street is one of the few streets in this area that's actually legal for vending.
The First Amendment is open to a lot of interpretation. However, the length of the sidewalk is not. I've taken it upon myself to resolve this issue. And that's 13 feet. That's barely the only issue. The art debate has become one of a personal vendetta between the major players.
About 3 weeks ago, I was displaying some leaflets on this wall, and Sean Sweeney ran up and started ripping everything off the wall. And then when
I feel sorry for him. He should really get a life and maybe create better art too at the same time.
The issue before the court remains whether or not it is in favor of protecting the interests of businessmen or protecting artists who feel that their rights have been violated. Until May 28th, when the decision is due to come down, Letterman will continue to vend on Prince Street, Sweeney will continue to call the cops, and street politics will blindly proceed as usual. Alan Dawson, president of the Union of General Vendors, summed it all up.
You got people standing here who are making their livings by doing this, okay? And then you got other people who, for some political purposes or whatever they're campaigning for. The fact of the matter is, I'll set everybody straight when the time's right, okay? Because I don't care what either one of them say.
And that's just one man's opinion. Reporting for NYU TV, I'm Carlin Mann.